So, to refresh your memory, what happened? We were talking yesterday about petroleum, and where do we find petroleum? Or where did petroleum form? In the ocean. So what kind of mining do we use to get petroleum? Ocean mining, good. Mostly. That's why we're drilling offshore to try to get petroleum and hopefully avoid any of those disasters we get. All right, so who has our petroleum, which we rely so much on? The Middle East has more than 50%. Look at that bar, okay? 66%. Then we've got Central and South America, which is depleting very, very rapidly. Why? Because we're the biggest importers. We use 80% of the petroleum in the world, yet we only own 2%. So we're constantly trying to obtain it from other countries. And one that's constantly giving it to us is South America. And that's why their amount is depleting rapidly, especially Venezuela. But so you can see, look at North America's oil reserves. It's 258, I guess, I forgot what the figure is, billion barrels of oil we have, and the Middle East has 2,130, right? Oh no, the world. The Middle East has 1,000. So again, you see they have 50% of the world's reserves.
They're going to be a graph in this sense?
No. There might be a graph you have to interpret, but not memorize, okay?
But a lot of times, like the graphs are like crazy, like you can't tell if it's from this.
I know, but you know, those are definitely something you have to expose yourself to, because that's what your SAT questions are like, or ACT questions, you know, interpreting graphs. Not necessarily knowing the material, but interpreting it.
Wait, this, we don't.
No, these are, okay, now this I want to tell you about, and again, you don't have to memorize any of these numbers. This is just know who has the most, the Middle East. No. Here's a graph of, this is a controversial topic. When I refer to how much petroleum there is in the world, I'm talking about proven oil reserves, or what they reference as what we know. But then they have this whole other thing of unconventional world oil resources. This is, hypothetically speaking, or some scientists based on geographical analysis or history, that they think there could be reserves found in these areas. And you see that, I can't even read that, but there, that light highlight shows that there could be all these reserves. Now, a lot of them are believed to be found under a rainforest. So they want to clear the forest. This was such a big topic a couple of years ago, in order to try to see if there's petroleum. They want to clear a whole, like Amazon rainforest, to see if there's petroleum underneath, which is pretty crazy. I think, so again, we don't own petroleum, but we produce it. Why? Because we import it, and then we refine it and make it usable. So we're like the top producers of petroleum. Does that make sense? We don't have it, but we take it out and we convert it into usable forms. So we are in the United States, Texas, and this you do have to know. Alaska, California, Louisiana, and Oklahoma are our main owners. Now, I'm going to definitely put Texas and Los Angeles in there. I mean, Texas and California, because as long as you see those two words, I'm not going to try to trick you with a whole bunch of different other states. If you see Texas in there, you know that's going to be the correct answer. Texas is our #1 producer in the U.S. This term, OPEC.
What's the last one?
I'll go back. All right, so our petroleum is kind of controlled by this organization, which is called OPEC. Organization of Petroleum Export Companies. So obviously the people that own the petroleum kind of control the price of the barrels, okay, and the distribution of how much can be released or somewhat. And if you notice, who's missing from that list? Us. Yeah. So we don't own it, but we consume it. United States consumes, if you take all of these other areas and you add it up, they pretty much consume what we consume. Look at the size. We consume 1/4 of the world's petroleum? United States, China, and Japan. And actually, China is up there, kind of catching up with us because we've set somewhat restrictions and they haven't. Same thing, I'll skip this slide. This is where I'll end, okay? So when you get petroleum, I showed you a picture when we mined it. What does it look like? When people strike petroleum, what does it look like?
Black.
Black, thick, like gooey, right? So it has to be processed in order to be used. And when it's processed, what do you think 50% is made into? Gas. What else? What do you think is the next product? When you think of petroleum and you think of gasoline, what else do you think of?
Oils.
What kind?
Like for lighting stuff.
That's up there, but 10% residual fuel oils. If you don't pump gas, what do you pump? Diesel. Good. 40% is diesel. Or heating oils and jet fuels.